Welcome, everyone, to the Telarus Tuesday call. I'm Doug Miller, the voice of Telarus. It's great to be back after a wonderful weekend celebrating Independence Day on July 4th here in the United States. Thanks to our partners around the world for their well wishes during our celebration. I don't usually do requests on the call, but I had such great response to last week's opening. It seemed to resonate with many of you. And so I was asked to repeat it today, unless you think it's something sentimental. I promise it is not. I have a proposal for everyone regarding the second half of this year. You remember in the third Star Trek movie, the search for Spock. So you've got the USS Enterprise, Starfleet registry number NCC 1701. It's destroyed near the movie's end. Well, when then Admiral Kirk and his officers return to Earth, Kirk is demoted to captain, everybody cheers, and given a command of a new, nearly identical Starship Enterprise, registry number NCC 1701A. So that's my proposal for the year 2020. Let's decommission it, be done with it, and instead set sail on a replacement year, 2020A, for the next 6 months. I think it's brilliant. And apparently a lot of you did too. So welcome to the Telarus Tuesday call for July 7th, 2020A. And not that 2020 has been all bad. In fact, some of it has been spectacular. The numbers are in, and we can officially announce that June 2020 has set a record for the greatest amount of monthly sales in Telarus history. What a phenomenal achievement for our Telarus partners, and a genuine tribute to your abilities to take care of your clients and find amazing opportunities, even in difficult and unpredictable circumstances. So Telarus thanks all of you, our partners and our suppliers, for your continuing business and for allowing our Telarus team to be a part of your success. Today, I'm very happy to welcome Bigleaf Networks to our Tuesday call. Bigleaf is the next generation of internet optimization based on, and I didn't know this, the natural redundancy found in leaf veins. Now that should be a race to the summit question. Unlike box-only solutions, Bigleaf leverages both an on-site router and a dedicated backbone network, controlling traffic both to and from the cloud. Today, we'll be discussing how to solve site-to-cloud connectivity issues at the office and remotely at home or elsewhere. Our Bigleaf conversation with Eric Brooker around upgrading to true site-to-cloud architecture and solving connectivity issues will be coming up in just moments. As always, we invite you to log in to our video link and live chat platform to see all of today's valuable information and to submit your questions and comments for today's presenters. Our Telarus Race to the Summit Season 1 continues to generate a lot of excitement, education, opportunity, and prizes for our partners. Presented by Granite and Vonage, the Race to the Summit Season 1 is your opportunity to drive away with a 3-year lease on a Tesla or a $25,000 cash prize. And we're adding many additional prizes as well, so you don't have to be the leader to win. Our Season 1 winners will be announced August 12th, just about a month away. Make sure you're in the running. Here are the current top 5 leaders for the grand prize. In 5th place, Ruben Pena Jr. 4th place is currently held by Jamie Turner. Taking the 3rd spot is Joseph Longway. And in 2nd, Mark Radford. And topping our Race to the Summit leaderboard, Mark Pradell. On last Tuesday's call, we featured an exciting discussion with Telarus VP of Marketing, Amy Bailey, and Telarus Director of Events, Stephanie Collin. We announced then that due to our concern for the health and safety of partners, suppliers, and team members, and the various restrictions in place around the country, that this year's Telarus Partner Summit will become a 16-week Race to the Summit Season 2. Now, our Season 2 event will premiere on Thursday, August 13th, and feature its own set of incredible prizes, awards, and opportunities, including another 3-year lease on a Tesla or $25,000 cash to be awarded on December 2nd. Now, we're also adding $1,000 prizes for 2nd through 10th places, along with some random drawings here on the Tuesday call. More than 70 suppliers are participating, providing product and services training, and our Telarus executives will also be involved, providing business development education on marketing, operations, legal, finance, HR, and sales. We'll also feature Fun Fridays, a series of family-oriented events including concerts, entertainers, motivational speakers, and more. And just like Partner Summit, everyone will have the opportunity to participate in various charity initiatives. And in fact, we'd like ideas from you as to the organizations that we can assist. There will also be an awards ceremony with President's Club Awards, Top Partner Awards, and Supplier's Choice Awards. And we'll feature keynote speaker Doc Hendley. He's founder of the Wine to Water charity, bringing clean water and hand washing and hygiene facilities to people without access around the world. So just like Partner Summit, what you need to do is to register for our Race to the Summit Season 2. Many of you have probably received an email with instructions. If not, simply go to telarus.com/RTTS2, like Race to the Summit 2. There you'll be able to help us customize your Race to the Summit experience, and you'll be able to vote for the Supplier Choice Awards. It will be phenomenal. You can hear all of the details from Telarus VP of Marketing Amy Bailey and Telarus Director of Marketing Events Stephanie Call on last week's Telarus Tuesday call. It was recorded. You can access it anytime in your Telarus partner back office. All right, so it's true we're not traveling for Partner Summit this year, but next March, we're definitely traveling to the beaches of St. Lucia for our very special President's Club trip, and we want you to join us. Our suppliers will make it easy for you to qualify for this award and trip. You can either sell a combined 100K in Telarus MRR, or sell a specified amount with one of the many individual sponsoring suppliers shown here on your screen. As you can see from the list, there are many terrific and easy ways to qualify, and a number of our partners have already qualified. Every sale counts toward qualifying for this amazing trip. Don't miss the opportunity to join Telarus next March in St. Lucia for the 2020 President's Club. Well, today I have the honor of recognizing some Telarus partners who've put up the top wins of the past week. We have a pair of amazing sales that deserve our congratulations and thanks. First up, Telarus recognizes and congratulates Donnie McCarty of Continuum Telecom Consulting out of Birmingham, Alabama. Donnie and Continuum posted an impressive sale of virtual private LAN services from AT&T to a client in the financial services industry. AT&T VPLS switched Ethernet service offers the simplicity, the scalability, the flexibility, and affordability for client switched Ethernet networks. It's an intelligent, intuitive, self-service networking solution. It is simple to buy. It's even simpler to sell. It's very simple to use, and it's all from AT&T. Continuum Telecom Consulting has more than 30 years experience in designing telecom solutions for their clients in the Southeast. Continuum are networking experts, and they offer consulting, provisioning, and implementation services on all voice, data, and hosted solutions. Congratulations, Donnie McCarty and Continuum Telecom Consulting on this tremendous AT&T sale. But taking the top spot on the Telarus leaderboard, Telarus congratulates Jeff Peters. He is the co-founder and president at Focalized Network Solutions out of Houston, Texas. Jeff and Focalized Networks closed an astounding sale of call center software and services to a client in the business services field. Five9 is the intelligent cloud contact center, enabling agents to be more effective in customer interactions. They feature smart dialers, intelligent omni-channel routing, on-screen customer info. In fact, Five9 provides everything needed, including IVR, reporting, CRM integrations, and so much more. Focalized Networks helps their clients solve complex IT challenges. They provide objective and independent technology assessments and ongoing support to enterprises leveraging IT to achieve their business objectives. Congratulations, Jeff Peters and Focalized Networks. What a tremendous 5-9 win. It is our top Telarus sale of the week. And as always, thanks to all of our Telarus partners who continue to place their business and their trust with us. It's a record-setting year and month, and Telarus is built for you. We've got some excellent training available from our Telarus suppliers this week, a chance for you to catch up on all things going on in our industry. Here are 4 such opportunities that caught our eye. First up, tomorrow, Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern, CloudGenix, now part of Palo Alto Networks, will present partner training on the CloudGenix portfolio of networking solutions. They built the CloudGenix app fabric from the ground up to provide top-down policies for applications, sites, performance, security, and compliance. You can check out the CloudGenix app fabric and other solutions during this Wednesday training. It happens at 11 a.m. Eastern from CloudGenix. Then right afterward, Wednesday at noon Eastern, join RapidScale for Identity as a Service, or IDaaS, training. IDaaS is the glue that binds the user experience across disparate multiple platforms. It's also the answer to handling the added complexity and the potential threats created as end users connect to those multiple apps and platforms. RapidScale explains how identity as a service ends multiple identity confusion, and this really should be a core piece of any IT strategy. Find out about RapidScale IDaaS. The training is Wednesday at noon Eastern. And then later Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, Windstream Enterprise will present special training on Retail as a Service. Learn how retail clients can transform the store experience, integrating back-end systems, supporting anywhere, anytime, any device type of shopping, and providing personalized product recommendations, all while maintaining a secure environment. Windstream Enterprise accelerates this transformation with a suite of secure, reliable retail solutions. Windstream Enterprise Retail Solutions training happens Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And then on Thursday, June 9th at 1 p.m. Eastern, plan to join a 15-minute tech talk teaching you how enterprises can optimize the cost of disaster recovery solutions by co-locating in Equinix International Business Exchange, or IBX, data centers. You can create a DR plan that optimizes DR cost, reduces recovery risks, and simplifies the digital journey. Learn to leverage the Equinix Cloud Advantage fabric into a resilient and quickly executed DR plan. It's Equinix DR training. It happens Thursday from 1 until just 1:15 p.m. Eastern. The details and registration links for these and many other live and recorded learning opportunities are all in your Telarus partner back office at agent.telarus.com. And as always, we pass along some of the most valuable spiffs available to Telarus partners right now. Here are 3 to consider as you evaluate your client's needs. First up, from Vonage, it's their Accelerated Spiff program. It's designed to help partners receive spiffs faster, helping you ensure liquidity, business continuity, and resilience. Vonage knows we're all part of a channel community. We take care of each other. So for all Vonage spiff programs through July 31st, on 36-month agreements, you'll get 2x MRR spiff upon booking of the sale, and any remainder spiff on the sales activation. For 12 or 24-month agreements, you'll get 1x MRR spiff on booking, and the remainder spiff on activation. The point is, you get the spiff faster thanks to your friends at Vonage. And then next, from Five9, perhaps the easiest and the most achievable spiff in the industry. Earn a 3x MRR multiplier incentive for new customer multi-year sales of between 10 and 500 contact center seats to new customers before September 30th. Five9 has launched its new X Factor partner program with this opportunity to earn even more with the X Factor accelerator. Five9 is the intelligent cloud contact center. Don't miss your chance to earn an easy, achievable spiff selling contact center agent seats from Five9. And finally, earn up to $5,000 per customer when you sell CenturyLink services to new logo customers located in 33 specific target markets. It's a 1x MRC bonus of up to $5,000 per customer for selling any eligible service on a minimum 2-year term to new logo customers in an eligible market. Simply call us for details and lead with CenturyLink and earn big money on those eligible sales. This promotion runs now through December 31st. These and many more fantastic deals from our suppliers can all be found at promos.telarus.com. Well, today I am very happy to welcome Bigleaf Networks to our Tuesday call. Remote work is really becoming the new norm. I'm remote here today. And remote network performance is a growing cause of IT headaches as well. The complaints include dropped VoIP connections, choppy video meetings, slow running apps, and it isn't easy to diagnose and resolve those issues remotely. Today we're going to be discussing site-to-cloud connectivity issues in the office and at home, and how Bigleaf Networks can solve those issues. Our good friend Eric Brooker is Senior Director of National Partner Programs at Bigleaf. He joins me now with today's presentation. Eric, it's great to have you back on the Telarus Tuesday call. Welcome.
It's good to be here, Doug. Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity. This is a great. Many of you are much like family to me, so I appreciate the opportunity. Before we jump into the PowerPoint, we can go ahead and go over to the slide deck. I want to make mention, although I was explicitly told not to address any of the questions, there was a comment in the comments section. Zachary Schechter was kind enough to let us know that today is National Strawberry Sunday Day and National Macaroni Day. So for those of you counting at home, today is a carb-free, calorie-free day. So we'll switch to the next slide. We'll jump right in. I want to take just a minute. Again, my name's Eric Brooker. Again, I know many of you. Our objective today is to talk about solving site-to-cloud connectivity issues at home and in the office. Now, Bigleaf Networks, we are an SD-WAN manufacturer. Someone asked me the other day, hard to identify, but we were certainly one of the first, if not the first in the SD-WAN space back in 2013, 2014, based out of Portland, Oregon, with sales resources, channel resources all over the globe. We are channel exclusive, and our focus, as it states right here, is to ensure reliable and uninterrupted business communications and application performance over the internet. Now, what does that mean? Let's switch to the next slide. We want to talk about how SaaS use is changing the landscape. And I think Doug did a great job. Last month was our second greatest sales month ever. Last month was Telarus's greatest month ever from a revenue and sales perspective. That's a reflection of what you folks are seeing in the marketplace. We're going to talk about some of the challenges that cloud networking and working from home has created and how Bigleaf can help teams perform optimally regardless of the location. Now, as we switch to the next slide, well, actually, there's 4 things. We'll move through those very quickly. On a personal note, every company is on a cloud journey. On a personal note, some of that's just Join Me or LinkedIn and some other personal applications, Instagram and things like that. At a departmental level, many of us are using a CRM or GoToMeeting. There are a lot of company-wide initiatives, right? UCaaS, VoIP. A lot of you are seeing things like RingCentral, Nextiva, 8x8, Office 365 are becoming increasingly more and more relevant as this COVID-19 situation continues to develop. But what we're finding at the core of it all, through talking to the master agent community and the sub-agent community, as well as the end users, is that companies have adopted a cloud-first mentality that has eased the deployment to the remote workforce, as many of us are now working from home. But it's become a necessity for those folks that have avoided it for many, many years. So as we switch to the next slide, I want to focus on the 51 to 100 employees. Take note of this slide because we're going to come back to this a couple of times throughout the presentation. it's important to note that the average company, 51 to 100 employees, uses 79 different applications. That equates to roughly 8 applications per employee. Now, the challenge that is created here is many of those are known applications: Salesforce, Zoom, GoToMeeting, RingCentral Video, Nextiva. The problem is, with 8 applications per person and 79 applications total, there are a lot of applications that IT doesn't know about. And the challenge in the world of SD-WAN outside of Bigleaf is, if IT does not know about the applications, there is no way to prioritize those applications. So let's, for example, say that we are an exclusive Zoom shop. All of our video is done via Zoom. Our competitors would create a manual policy for that Zoom application. The problem is, Patrick Oborn wants to meet with me next Tuesday, and he sends me a GoToMeeting. If that GoToMeeting is not manually created as a policy with our competitors, unfortunately, that call, that interaction will not be prioritized. We'll switch to the next slide. We'll come back again to that quite a few times over the course of the next 10 minutes or so. This data is interesting, right? So this is data that we have captured through the course of all of our customers, as well as an IDC study. So ISP downtime throughout the Bigleaf network, that's a conglomeration of every ISP you can think of: Cox Communications, Comcast, Verizon, Windstream. The average Bigleaf customer throughout, again, a conglomerate of nearly every ISP in the country, has roughly 3.5 hours of ISP downtime. That's black out, hard downtime, no internet. Now, many of you are saying, my firewall can fix that situation. And you're absolutely correct. In many cases, your firewall can fix that true blackout, hard down, internet out, and it can migrate over to a secondary internet connection automatically. What it can't do is it can't monitor and manage the 23 or more hours of the unusable performance during the course of a month. Now, the challenges that are created from that, from a Netflix perspective, it's that spinny globe of Netflix. From a Zoom perspective, it's the tiling that you get or the bad audio on a Zoom call. With RingCentral or Nextiva, it's not RingCentral or Nextiva, it's the internet connection. So it's the, hey, Doug, I'm sorry, can you repeat yourself? Or Andrew, I didn't hear you right. Could you repeat yourself? My internet went in and out for just a second. The cost of those conversations, of those interactions not functioning properly every time, is roughly $8,000 per hour. Now, put that in perspective of some of your customers. That's a telemedicine. That's a doctor sitting at home over a telemedicine call, not working properly. That is a salesperson sitting at their desk, not being able to close that deal because their internet simply isn't working properly. So again, as we switch to the next slide, we'll talk about cloud networking challenge number 2. The second biggest challenge, and we'll go back to that first slide, right? IT is no longer the gatekeeper of software provisioning. So I referenced earlier the 79 different applications. That's because IT doesn't own every application on the network. In fact, for those of us with a credit card and a computer, we can drum up an application in a matter of just minutes. But again, IT doesn't know about those applications in many cases. So again, we'll come back to that in just a minute. And we'll talk about on the next slide, probably the largest current challenge of networking, which is work from home. Work from home is the new norm. In January of this year, take note of this. This is a fascinating statistic. In January of this year, there were roughly 4.7 million Americans working from home. As we move over to the next page, you'll see that that number is currently, it's actually over 85 million Americans working from home. We went from 4.7 million Americans in January to today, 85 million Americans are working from home. Now, some of you were saying, Eric, that's only going to last for a short period of time. COVID's going to end. We're all going to go back to the office. And what we're finding through research studies, IDC, Forrester, Gartner, there's a lot of research studies that suggest that companies are going to look to save money. There's a research study that suggests that keeping an employee home, even part-time, can save a business upwards of $11,000 per employee per year. So as companies migrate back into this post-COVID world, they're going to be looking for ways to save money because they haven't sold, they haven't been open for the last number of months. And one of those things they can do is allow their employees to work from home. I've had a number of conversations with the leadership at Telarus, and many of you are seeing an efficiency from your staff working from home that you didn't see before. So there's another reason to keep people at home. Real estate, as we switch to the next slide, 74% of CFOs expect to move previously on-site employees remote post-COVID-19. So we're starting to see the shift. The reality is all of the studies out there suggest that the number of employees working from home, A, is never going to go back to the 4.7 million, but B, is really probably going to linger in between the 20 and 30 million Americans. Now, if you're anything like me, that screams opportunity, whether it be SD-WAN, UCaaS, desktop as a service. There's so many opportunities for the folks on this call to seize on the 20 to 30 million Americans now working from home to get them set up properly for efficiency purposes. So on the next slide, Bigleaf offerings solve many of the challenges, not just at the office. So of course we got our start back in 2013 as an SD-WAN shop working primarily in the business setting, in the office setting. Now we have a work from home environment. We pivoted. It is important to note that that is a month-to-month solution. So when COVID ends, should your customers decide to go back to the office, we can simply have them ship the Bigleaf devices back to Bigleaf and the contract has ended. But in the interim, you're solving a problem. Again, the studies show us that in many cases, those folks are going to continue to work from home. The next slide talks about really how we were built. We're the only SD-WAN manufacturer built for cloud first. We are site to cloud. Our data centers sit at the core of the internet. So all of the applications that you sell, all of the applications that we've been talking today are literally in the same data center as Bigleaf. So there's very little hop to get from our cage to Ring Central or Nextiva. We also have intelligent software. So again, we referenced that first slide, 79 different applications. We don't need, in fact, we don't create manual policies on the Bigleaf network. Everything on the Bigleaf network is automated. So we recognize in an autonomous fashion every application on the network by application type, and we prioritize it based on the application type. So if Patrick sends me that invite for GoToMeeting and I'm typically just a Zoom guy, it's irrelevant because Bigleaf is going to recognize that as a video interaction and it's going to be prioritized automatically. And again, we're firewall friendly. Our suggestion is most of your customers already have, in fact, many of you sold them their firewall 12, 18, 24 months ago. There's a lot of work to be put into creating manual policies from a firewall perspective, HIPAA compliancy, PCI compliancy. Keep all that intact with your best of breed firewall. We sit outside of the firewall so we don't interrupt that at all. We'll move to the next slide. We'll talk a little bit further about really what our network looks like. We've got gateway clusters throughout the globe. And again, we prioritize business critical applications over everything else going on on the network. It is important to note, we have gateway clusters. Every one of our customers is assigned a primary and a secondary. So I sit here in St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm assigned to Chicago, and I backhaul to New York on an as-needed basis. We'll shift gears again over to the next slide. And actually, this is the part that I get really excited about. We're firewall friendly. We sit outside of the firewall. We respect existing policies. Those policies can be daunting to create. Sitting outside of the firewall allows you to maintain HIPAA and PCI compliancy. There's no security changes needed when implementing Bigleaf. It's also important to note that we support VPNs. Many of you helped your customers pivot to VPN and cloud-based services, and we can support both of those. Now we're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about the home office. In the next slide, you'll see what the home office looks like. If you're anything like me and probably like your customers, I'm on a Zoom call right now. This Zoom call is the most important thing from a revenue producing perspective that's happening in my house right now. Meanwhile, I've got kids in the basement on Disney Plus watching Hamilton. I've got kids in the living room watching Netflix. I am challenged with all of the other things going on in my home office environment because Netflix, Disney Plus, Xbox, other things are happening. But how do we prioritize those business critical applications? Now on the next slide, you'll see another look at what the home office looks like. The challenges of home office are packet loss, latency, jitter, down internet connections. The residential internet was never built for 85 million Americans to be working from home. It was also never built for 85 million Americans and their children to constantly be on the internet. Your customers are experiencing this on a daily basis. We'll switch to the next slide. We'll talk about what we do at Bigleaf is we prioritize, we'll go back just one, we prioritize business critical applications over everything else going on in the network. So as an example, this Zoom interaction is prioritized over everything else going on in the network right now. So we're having a seamless experience. It's likely that my kids are having a seamless experience as well because Bigleaf is prioritizing some of their data. But should we have a congestion of any type, this is the last thing. This Zoom interaction is going to be prioritized over everything. So we'll move to the next slide. Bigleaf Home Office, a similar slide to the previous one. Again, we are single circuit friendly. It's important to note most home offices have just one connection. We can support that. Sitting outside of the firewall, we're also super easy to install. In fact, my wife and I moved just a few months ago into a new house. I had my 4-year-old, granted it was all pre-provisioned like your customers would be, but I had my 4-year-old install Bigleaf in my home. Everything was color-coded. Everything's easy to install. I joke it's color-coded. Scott Forbush, who's also a customer, said to me, he goes, Eric, I had to ask my wife for help because I'm colorblind. So beyond that, it's a pretty easy install. We'll wrap it up. We'll go one more slide and we'll talk about our pricing. Our pricing starts at just $99 a month for both the home office as well as our standard office solution. It's based on the total throughput. We'll maybe address that in the Q&A section. But again, I want to reiterate, our home office starts at just a month-to-month agreement. So when we rolled this out in March, many folks had the question, what happens when? And so we wanted to address that in the most meaningful way possible by providing just a month-to-month service. We're already starting to see many of our customers signing up for a 1-year term for the solution, but we're having a great deal of success. In fact, again, I mentioned Bigleaf had their second greatest month ever. I'm thrilled to be a part of it, but a lot of that had to do with our home office coupled with setting up businesses for VPN functionality. So Doug, I'll pass it back to you. I really appreciate the opportunity. We'll see if we have any questions related to the presentation.
Eric, phenomenal presentation. We do have a lot of questions about it from our partners, and this kind of a discussion always just generates a lot of interest. Everybody's experiencing it right now. It would be really interesting to know how many of the folks on the call today are at a home or remote location dealing with exactly the kind of issues that you mentioned there. I am, for one, and it's a shared connection. It's a great connection, but nevertheless, we run into issues of prioritization and all sorts of things that can happen all during the week. And I think most importantly, going right back to the start of the presentation, was the stunning statistic that you brought out about the number of hours of downtime, and more than that, the unusable time.
Yeah.
We did have a question come up about how the $8,000 per hour is calculated, because that would be terrific for a proof of use. But I don't think we take into account the unusable time that comes in. I panicked a little bit this morning as we came on for the Tuesday call, because some of the apps that I've been using for 3 or 4 days now are still up, and it was just a very slow response. I had to shut everything down, boot everything back up. It's fine now. But those few seconds add up as you go through a day with unusable time. Talk just a little bit about how you came up with that calculation and why that's so critical in making the case for the Bigleaf solution.
So actually, it's interesting. We didn't come up with the $8,000 an hour. That was an IDC research study. So we were able to calculate the downtime based on the thousands of sites that we have. We are able to measure the performance of those sites and the internet providers. So the downtime and the degraded blackout and brownout type scenarios we measured. But the $8,000 an hour was an IDC research study. So that's not Bigleaf creating a number. That's not someone from Telarus saying, hey, I don't know, probably $8,000 an hour. That's a research study related to internet connectivity outages and brownout scenarios. Great question.
Yeah, Mohammed, thanks for the question out there. It was a stunning statistic when you consider, maybe 3 hours of internet downtime a month, but 23 hours of unusable time that really firewalls cannot fix.
Yep. Yeah, it's a challenge because most of the folks on this phone are going to hear their customers say, I think my firewall can do that. And again, what the firewall typically does in a blackout scenario, it will migrate, not in real time like most of us in the SD-WAN space, but it will migrate in near real time from one ISP to another. But the brownout or the near loss connectivity issues are where SD-WAN really comes into play. And then again, that's 23 hours a month. That's real time for sure.
One of our partners on the chat line, it says How Gross. I apologize if that's not quite the name, but makes the comment that with all of the work from home changes that have gone on, there may be a real shift in how commercial real estate is used, how companies that presently invest in a lot of meeting space both acquire, utilize, and maintain those spaces. There will be a significant number of folks who do continue to work, if not from home, at least remotely. And the solution that you're proposing here for network optimization and prioritization becomes that much more important. Talk a little bit again about why we decided to go with a month-to-month agreement, what you hope to achieve by doing that, and then how partners can successfully transition their clients from a month-to-month to a more long-term agreement.
Yeah, so we opted for the month-to-month. In fact, we did that without customer feedback. We did that without agent feedback. We did that because culturally it just seemed like the right thing to do. We were rolling out home office even before there were really work-from-home mandates. People were just starting to send their workforce home. It seems like the right thing to do. What we are allowing, what I think we do best for the agent community right now is we're giving you a reason to pick up the phone and call your customers, because candidly, the first few months of this looked a little bit different. My 4-year-old has walked in on calls. I interviewed a woman a few weeks ago, and she had her little 3-year-old kept bothering her and eventually came to sit on her lap. Now, some of those things are going to continue to be acceptable, although some of us don't want them to happen. Those are uncontrollables. The controllables are the experience you have with a customer on a Zoom call, the experience you have with an 8x8 or a Ring Central or a NetFortress. We want to make that interaction as seamless as possible. The month-to-month just makes the most sense. We can address the 1 year. When we address the 1 year, I see us doing that on the tail end of COVID, when folks have decided to stay home long term, when you guys even at Telarus say, hey, we're going to keep this group at home for the next 12 to 18 months, because candidly they're just more efficient, and it's a culturally it just makes more sense as to who we are. We're not focused on migrating people to the 1 year so much as we are just doing what makes sense for them on a case-by-case basis.
The home office product has automated prioritization capability in it. If a customer or a user has a custom application and it needs priority, is the product flexible enough, capable enough to adapt to that?
Yeah, in fact, I would suggest reaching out to any of your peers that have sold Bigleaf or had any interactions with us. If that custom application is not identified in one of our classes, we can prioritize that manually. And that's just a simple 5-minute phone call or email into our customer success department, and we can get that done typically within an hour or so. So we run into that with some regularity, but generally speaking, even a custom application is going to be identified in a certain class. Again, if it's in the wrong class, we can reprioritize that just the same.
Are all reprioritizations done using that process, or is it possible for the user to do that on the fly if the need for prioritizations change?
So that's a great question. With the patent that we hold and the autonomous nature of how we do business, it's not done on the fly. It would just be, again, a quick email or phone call into our care group. What we have found with some of our competitors is when our competitors allow certain IT departments to have that much flexibility, they create more problems than they are fixing. And so we just want to walk through what it is that we're trying to accomplish. Again, typically a call into our care groups, a 5-minute ordeal.
It's amazing, as you suggested earlier, how the residential internet is changing and being forced to change. It wasn't built initially for this type of current volume, as you mentioned, or for these types of applications. And yet we're seeing now a tremendous evolution in what is becoming available for remote workers. Is the Bigleaf product compatible with any type of internet connectivity connection, whether that be cable, whether it be fiber, whether it be wireless, any restrictions there?
So home office or standard office can take up to 4 internet service providers. We needed handed off as Ethernet, and there's a myriad of different ways to do that. So whether it's fiber or a Viasat or anything like that, as long as it's handed off via Ethernet, we can do that. Now, one interesting thing that you brought up is the business internet, when it was built, has traditionally been built to Comcast, Spectrum, and so forth, typically try their best to prioritize business applications. The inverse of that at the home office is they don't want calls from their customers, just like they don't in the business world. So they prioritize applications that are important to residents. Unfortunately, that's typically things like Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus. So it has created, this work from home has created a new set of challenges that I think we can help fix in both the home office or the standard office environment.
With the network solutions that are available, if there is a need for a customer to at some point migrate from the home office solution to one of the Bigleaf standard business solutions, is that a possibility?
Just a firmware upgrade. So again, an email to our customer service, we can migrate. In fact, we're starting to see a little bit of that as companies downsize and upsize. We're starting to see contact centers. So when we first rolled this product out, I envisioned it for executive type staff. We're seeing a myriad of different folks, from contact center to customer service. We can absolutely re-provision things. We can move it back to the office. Again, we need some ISP information, and it's a seamless migration to the next location.
For most customers that might have to deal with the install and setup of all of this, can you give me an approximate idea of their level of expertise that might be required, and what sort of time might be required for an average at-home installation?
So I don't know if I should make my Scott Forbush joke here and say if Scott can do it. Literally my 4-year-old son did it. So the instruction manual came to me. I am not a technical person. Been in this space for about. And when I started here, they said, "Hey, we're going to ship you a Bigleaf device." So I went and ordered the Bigleaf device online. Super easy process, and it came to me. I was a little nervous about implementing it because I didn't want to out myself with our IT or technical group that I just wasn't a technical person. The worst part is it showed up and it was 5 pages of instructions. In those 5 pages, there were just 5 steps. The first step is unbox it, plug it in, make sure certain lights are blinking. Well, that I can do. The 5th step is go to a website, CNN, Fox News, ESPN. If you're able to get to the website, then you have adequately installed Bigleaf. So now I'm sweating it out, thinking in 3 steps, I've got to install the Bigleaf device. It took me 5 minutes. When we moved into this house, I watched my 4-year-old son do it in about 10 minutes because he had a question or two. But I would say typically Susie in accounting, John in sales, this is something that nearly everybody can do. If there is a question, just call into our customer care and we'll walk them right through it. But we're actually not fending off a lot of customer care related issues. We're simply shipping out pre-provisioned devices and they're getting installed very, very quickly. That's a great question. Super easy install.
It sounds so easy, both to sell the market. The opportunity for this is unbelievable right now. Obviously, the cost is easy. The benefits of this in terms of prioritization and what that can do for the home network are astounding. Bigleaf, however, I mean, we don't want to take away from all of the other ways that Bigleaf's networking services can be used as well. And as big as this opportunity is, hey, we've got you here with us. What other opportunities should our partners be looking for as they speak with their business clients, both now in the middle of the pandemic issues, but also as some workers return back to the office? What opportunities should our partners be looking for to help those clients and those offices as well?
I think if there's one thing that I've learned in my time at Bigleaf that I think every agent needs to hear, unfortunately, you're going to use this with Bigleaf and probably some of my competitors, but that's okay. When most agents are out selling SD-WAN technology, they're walking in with a second ISP and an SD-WAN manufacturer. So the conversation typically looks like this. Hey, Doug, I see that you're spending $199 a month with Comcast. I want to go ahead and promote the idea of a secondary internet connection. So I've gone ahead and gotten a quote from CenturyLink for a similar service at $199 a month, and SD-WAN manufacturer X, let's call it Bigleaf for today's conversation, at $199 a month. That tends not to resonate real well with the customer. That tends not to resonate well because of the sheer cost as it relates to ISP spend. So we've shifted the conversation. Again, if you take nothing else out of the conversation, hear this part. Your typical customer, unfortunately not in this slide deck, your typical customer, again, 51 to 100 employees, we'll use that same number, is spending over $13,000 a month, $13,000 a month in cloud-based applications. So when you have the SD-WAN conversation, come in with that $199 CenturyLink circuit. When you come in with the SD-WAN solution, you're not adding it as an aggregate to the overall connectivity spend. You're helping them protect their $13,000 monthly investment in the software as a service applications we already know they're running. The other thing I would say is make sure to be a part of that $13,000 a month. That's all of the other things that are in the Telarus portfolio, from security to desktop as a service, contact center as a service, and so forth. That $13,000 a month is typically up for grabs in some capacity as well. But if you sell SD-WAN as a subset, as an saving from that investment, a protection of that investment, I think you're going to have a lot more success.
That is terrific advice. One more question regarding the home office product. This comes from Ray, one of our partners. Back to the slide that said we've designed Bigleaf to be firewall friendly. One of the bullet points there is that it enhances site-to-site VPN traffic. Ray's asking how that's accomplished.
We're actually prioritizing that traffic. We can create a manual policy if the applications running through the VPN are a higher priority than the way we would typically rate them. But today in a home office environment, your VPN traffic is not prioritized. We are prioritizing that because currently VPN is a prioritization for us. Again, it might not be as high as it needs to with each customer. We can address that on an as-needed basis, but we're prioritizing all the data running through the VPN. We don't, Ray, identify the traffic, of course, that's running through it. We just identify it as VPN traffic. One other thing that I think is important to note, we've gotten a couple questions on lately on a similar topic of, doesn't this seem a little bit Big Brother? Do you see the websites and the traffic that I'm using? We don't see websites, we don't see domains, we don't see any of that. We just simply identify ESPN.com or CNN or FoxNews.com as web traffic, not by domain. We don't capture any of that. We don't store any of it. We don't have any information on that. But I think that's an important part to Ray's question as well from a security perspective.
Absolutely. You know, we spent so much time as all of this began helping clients and customers be able to work remotely, get their connections from home and so forth. Now the opportunity seems to be, hey, we may be staying there for the foreseeable future for all sorts of good business reasons. Now we need to enhance those connections, prioritize the traffic, make those work from home or work remotely connections up to the task of business needs. We cannot compromise the security and the other requirements that go along with that. So what a phenomenal opportunity, very well priced, easy to sell, easy to install, and a great way for partners to get back in touch with their customers and find out what's happening. Eric, terrific presentation. Last word to you.
Again, I appreciate the opportunity. There's a couple questions in here I know we didn't address. I don't know that I'll have access to the questions after. So if for some reason we didn't answer your question, my contact information is right here. If you'd like to reach out to your channel manager, you can go into the Telarus back office, and we have a channel manager map there as well. Otherwise, Doug, Telarus, and the entire subagent community, thank you so much. And until we see each other on the road, stay safe.
Absolutely. Thank you, Eric. This presentation, of course, being recorded. You'll be able to access this in your Telarus partner back office probably later this afternoon or tomorrow. So you'll be able to see the entire presentation there. And if you have a need for the slide deck, contact us at marketing@telarus.com, and we'll see if we can get that into your hands as well. We will be back next Tuesday for more of the Telarus Tuesday call. Thanks to each of you for your attendance and participation today, and especially to Eric Brooker of Bigleaf Networks. Outstanding presentation. We'll be back next Tuesday with more. Till then, I'm Doug Miller, the voice of Telarus. Be safe, be kind, and have a great selling week, everyone.